We need a home run right now. Right across the chin. Ah, all right. Yeah. All praises due to the Most High, family. We back with another Acres anime reaction. I just finished watching episode 14 of To Be Hero X, and I'm not gonna hold you, family. I'm more confused than ever. So, we picking up where we left off. The DJ Shindig pulled up in the spot in the lab, and he's making a mess. So we got a little bit understanding about how his power work, and he basically influence you with his music. And so he kind of like create everybody in the lab, all the security, everybody but, our two girls, Lolly and I'm forgetting the other girl's name, but the two girls that were being stalked by this other dude, Lolly and old girl, they really seem to be the only ones unaffected by the DJ Shindig's power, right? But so anyway, he in there making a mess. We find out that he's looking for the fear that they're working on and researching, and basically had as a secret. So who knows how DJ Shindig found out that they had it on them, right? Because this is after like the whole Queen situation happened, and that was like the first with the orphanage, right? And that was like the first time that we seen fear was working. First on the orphanage director, and then second, I think it was Boa. But so he trying to get into that. We had a funny little scene where old girl, in her being slightly inebriated, a little under the influence, she was acting big and bold, and she was confronting DJ Shindig thinking that he was the stalker. And so that was a funny little scene. But basically what went down this whole episode was Lolly and DJ Shindig was throwing them bows, right? So we seen Lolly pull up in her suit, 2.0, in her Iron Woman suit 2.0. And it worked. I was a little worried because they hadn't tested it out yet. But it seemed to have made it through the whole fight, like really no problem. Now, DJ Shindig, he's a formidable opponent. What we found out was, and it's interesting, right? Because all the heroes that we're going through this season, we're watching them basically from their starting point to ending up in the top 10, right? And we know during the Queen arc, we know who the current X is, but it's interesting to see some of these other heroes who were previously the X hero, right? So I think Boa was the first one that we seen was a previous X hero. X being the top hero, right? But what we learned about DJ Shindig is he's no slouch. He's actually the person who claimed the top spot in the shortest amount of time. Like he went from nobody to number one in the quickest amount of time. So he was really given, which is an impressive win for Lolly, because she did put them hands on him. She won. It was like Rocky style. Like she really had to endure. It was a war of attrition, right? So they flying around. The suit was impressive. Even before the fight, right? She was handling his little minions, and she was putting a pause on them. And then when DJ Shindig started to get involved, now we started to get a little worried a little bit, because he was really hitting her hard. He twice the size of her. I was worried about the durability of the suit. And so he realized that, and at the end, this makes sense because we're talking about the material that the suit was made of. But he realized that his power, he basically, he a DJ, right? So he basically controls your actions through the music that he playing. And it was weird. I didn't understand how he increased the temperature on the lab equipment. I didn't know if that's because he was getting everybody to move around and made the area hotter, or if his music affecting the machines increased the temperature. I didn't quite understand how that worked, because that kind of reminded me of like Queen's power. Like, he can really just, if you hear the music, or if the music can affect something, he can really just make it do whatever he wants, right? Which made me think of Queen's power, because she just like make rules however she wanna. She can stop you, she can move you, she can strengthen herself, stuff like that. But so he really making a mess. He really putting a pause on Lolly. Excuse me, family. But halfway through, he realized that his power is not affecting Lolly. And he's confused, because he's like, man, I know I'm not the top hero no more. I know my trust value isn't what it used to be, but I still got crazy trust value. And so instead of trying to affect her, he really just powered himself up. And this is how you know I've been watching anime too long. For some reason, he started moving more, almost like a berserk mode, like more wild, bigger movements. It's so much reminded me of like Broly, or if you've seen all the Dragon Ball movies, like BoJack. I don't know why that reminded me of those two characters, but it did. But so he's swinging, and he got Lolly kind of cornered a little bit. But old girl, she remembers. She like, oh, I don't know if they got multiple weapons that they made for the suit, but they at least made a bat. And so the bat come flying in. That was crazy. It basically was able to sense where the suit was and flew straight to Lolly. And then she hit a home run, family. Like, what do you do with a baseball bat? You hit the ball out the park. And so she hit him clean. But as soon as you saw her land that hit and saw the direction he was flying in, you knew it was trouble, because he crashed right into the containers with the fear factor, right? And so he started getting infected. And we didn't really see the effects of that yet, but we see that he's infected. In fact, at the end of the episode, he really can't move much. I don't know if that's because of the fear factor, or he just got his a whooping, like too bad. But so we were actually having a CEO meeting. Like, all these CEOs of the hero agencies were having a meeting. I guess they was trying to figure out what the research update was on the fear, what the plan was to do with the fear. But basically, while they having this meeting is when DJ Shindig pulled up. And so they calling heroes. And I'm wondering, because we boxing for a minute. They basically was having that meeting right when he showed up. But then they start hearing all the explosions. They start hearing the ruckus. And so I'm wondering where these heroes pulling up. But so finally Ghostblade pull up, which is crazy because he didn't even answer the phone when his CEO called him, right? But he pull up. We learn that even the fear factor. So not only did DJ Shindig's power not work on the suit because of the material it was made, but the fear factor wasn't affecting Lolly either. She showed her dad, like, look, he after this and I got some. But so he peeped it wasn't affecting her because of the suit. And so he was basically telling the other CEOs, hey, we got to do more research. I really didn't know how this material was going to interact with the trust and the fear factor, but we see that it is, so we need to do more investigation on that. And basically the episode ends with Ghostblade pulling up and he walking in, we think to handle DJ Shindig, but then it looked like somebody else walked in. It could have been Ghostblade with a different appearance. It could have been the stalker. But the bottom line is we know DJ Shindig and this person who walked in front of him were working together. He basically put DJ Shindig up to invading the lab and getting the fear factor or something like that. So, like I said, I'm more confused now than I was at the beginning of the episode. But Lolly put that was a good fight. It was entertaining. But that's it, family. All praise is due to the Most High. If you want to watch the episode, tap into my Patreon. But other than that, peace and love.